Yo, what up? All right. So we got another one from Bill Burr and Ricky Gervais. And this is them talking about Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal. Yeah. I think, we all know Bill and Patrice were like best friends, Heard a lot of stories from Bill about Patrice. But Ricky Gervais knew Patrice O'Neal. Ricky knew Patrice. Okay. Okay. And it looks like we got Ricky and Bill in the same room on, looks like a podcast or something. Okay. All right. Let's check it out. Here we go.
The one thing that Boston had before us, and we kept going, we had a massive community. Like, we hung out every night.
Yeah. There was a scene
we
there.
went to a club every night and hung out after the more importantly,
Boston.
after the show for at least an hour or two, just philosophizing, busting balls. And the one thing I explained to people too is that if you look at like all of us guys that came to New York, me, Dane, Billy, Patrice, Gary Gulman, just those guys, it came almost in the same couple of years. We're all completely different on stage.
Well,
like,
yeah.
We're silhouetted differently. Like Billy's always been Billy. Patrice I'm different. We're all different.
I love Patrice. I never got to meet Patrice.
You see guys now
you
with
never met
all the
Patrice?
kind of same comics.
too.
Best comic I ever saw live, and other than that, you'd have to go to like the greats of all time. Like what that guy would have been doing. So that's when anybody
I think
says
he's my favorite comic of all time.
Yeah.
On the 2 hours I've seen 10 times on YouTube and all those bits. I've seen every single bit that's ever been put on YouTube.
He's the best.
And I never saw someone. We all deal with it. We all sort of deal with contentious issues. We want to sort of like shock and scare people now and again. But he'd come out with, he'd say the worst thing ever and then gradually justify it. Yeah. And do you know what I mean? He'd cut up a movie. He'd start with the terrible, horrific.
He would come out and say fucked up shit, and I've seen him walk like a majority of the room. He'd literally look at somebody. He'd go to your face. He'd go, "Yeah, you should go. You're not gonna like me. I can tell by your face."
Yeah.
And he would walk a lot of people, and then he'd be like, "All right, we can go. We can start now because now I can do it." I don't know what that was. Like that was some crazy fucked up shit. But then the crowd would love him.
Genius.
Yeah,
It was everything. It was everything.
All that fucked up shit.
Also,
It was everything.
he did sometimes he then giggled to himself where he thought, I got away with that. They believed me. So I didn't.
No, but if that person said, "Why the fuck do you know I'm not going to like you?" He would like the person. So he had this weird thing where he would.
Yeah.
He for some reason he felt you needed to pass a test to be around him.
Well, that's
I don't
what we
know
do
why
with
we never
friends.
trashed him for that. Like
but we
yeah, like you got
we
to
used
pass
trash
the bar.
that. Yeah, because he used to
listen
come
your
in.
dick jokes.
He used to do. He would because he was such an insecure guy. He'd always have a different outfit, like genre. Like he had jerseys. One year he was just wearing jerseys. And then the next year he wore suits. Then he wore
dressed
hats.
like Run
Remember the
DMC in
hats?
one special.
He dressed like Run DMC.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his.
Yeah.
That was his suit
Yeah.
hat thing, and he just show up as a different person. And I remember one time he walked in a fucking burgundy suit with a vest and a hat, and he walked in at the cell. I was like, "Would you just come up with your own barbecue sauce?" I mean, from there we just smashed him to where
And he never wore it again, right? Never.
No. I almost cried one time. I got so hurt by my pounding. I was with Keith Robinson and Patrice in Amsterdam, and I was so excited just to be out of the country. It was amazing. And this guy had put us in this shit artsy hotel downtown. Literally, it had metal bunk beds and a shower. The shower and the toilet were just one room where you just kind of hose everything off. And Patrice and Keith were like, "This is a prison, motherfucker. We're out of here." And I loved it. I was like, "I'll stay," because I'm a people-pleasing fuckface.
Right.
They took him out to the country, this beautiful hotel. I stayed by myself in this shithole. And I had bought this outfit for the big show. It was a black.
I don't even know this
It was
thing
a
about
black-
buying an outfit.
I
never thought
it,
an
was it was a big theater show.
Talking about you wore a white jacket.
I know.
You didn't wear an outfit one time, and then that was it.
No, that's the worst thing about that was I wasn't even performing. That was just me in the crowd. That's the terrible thing about that.
Oh, God.
I bought a black shirt, polyester shirt, but I bought. And there was a time, believe it or not, where polyester pants were in. So I bought these black pants.
Why he says that? I wouldn't even accept it. Oh, sure, the time. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
The 70s, boss.
What I didn't know,
roller discos.
I had black shoes, and what I didn't know is I bought bell bottom. I didn't know they were bell bottom.
Oh.
So when I came out, it looked like I was wearing an evening gown. So I just remember I walked out. I didn't understand, and I walked out, and Patrice and Keith were in the van with the windows up, and you just heard Patrice's. They smashed me. The guy driving who booked the thing was just miserable. He was laughing so hard he had to pull the van over.
Oh no!
And they were just smashing me, and I just had my head because I had to perform in this. I had to go on stage.
You were dressed like Catwoman.
This is like trauma.
You know what's funny when you say that that's trauma is there's a lot of truth to that because like those are the funniest guys I ever hung out with, and rather than sitting down and writing a script and shooting something for like 5 years, all we did was try to sabotage each other.
Yeah.
Every fucking possible thing.
But there's nothing funnier.
there would be times I really wanted to try something out. I just didn't have it in me that night. I had a tough day. I would skip going upstairs. I would wait till right before my spot. I'd catch the host out on the sidewalk, and I would go downstairs, and then I would go on stage, knowing full well that I got a good 4 minutes before they see me on that fucking TV, and then they're all going to stand in the doorway, mean mugging me, shaking their head at everything I say like it's not funny. And those 4 minutes, though, were mine. And I was going to try that new fucking thing, and before the knuckleheads came down, and it was just like...
there's a real...
They're like, Bill, why didn't you come upstairs and say hello? It's like...
But there's a real brotherly camaraderie to that, because I do this bit, it's not finished, I do this bit in my new thing where I didn't hug anyone till I was 30. Now everyone hugs everyone, right? Growing up, you didn't hug your brother either. You wound each other up. You played for it. It was the meanest thing you could do, and then you both laughed. Yeah. And I think that's what makes us as well, this play fighting when you're growing up to be a comic. We want to be heard. We want to, but I think there's no nastiness in it.
But there's also a purity in it. There's also a filter.
No, there was not.
There's not really, is it? It's not.
It's a filter.
It was mean. It was mean. I would tell you something. Some of the funniest fucking guys I knew avoided that table like the fucking plague. Like there was people. They were literally afraid.
I saw
to
people.
sit down.
People cried.
Yeah,
I've seen people
cried.
cry.
Dude, it was me.
Oh really?
Mean.
What did they mean to make him cry though, or was it just taken wrong?
I
and they
remember one
couldn't take
night
it?
a
They
girl
weren't
cried.
tough enough to hang. They showed up
Yeah.
and got in the ring and they got pounded. Like me, my role there, I was the palooka. I was the Jerry Quarry of that table. I had my moments or whatever, so I'd get like every once in a while I'd make it to the pay-per-view and I would lose every time. You couldn't beat Patrice. Patrice was the Ali of the table.
Yeah, Patrice and
Keith
Norton.
was Joe Frazier.
Norton.
There was just beasts there. There was beasts. And then Kevin Hart came a few years later and he caught up real quick.
Yeah, but we fucked with that little. Remember we threw phone books at him when he was on stage.
My favorite thing ever.
What?
That's not
Kevin
heckling.
Hart.
That's
Kevin Hart
violence.
tried to give Sherrod shit one night, and Sherrod picked him up and burped him like a baby,
Fucking
like
hell.
threw him over his shoulder. And Sherrod is like he's like farm strong, like he just came out of the womb, could fucking tear a building out of the ground. He just picked him up and burped him. I remember Kev's stupid little Air Jordans dangling in the air. And there was nothing.
They were
When somebody
fucked up.
lifts you off the ground, there's
When there's a
It's-
physicality to it, that's different. I know.
It's hard.
but-
Like when I was trying to be serious with my girl and maybe get married or move in. I remember when I told Keith and Kevin, I got a joint bank account with my girlfriend. They literally they drove me, I think maybe 10 minutes past my stop where I was staying in like a bad neighborhood, and they just said, "Get out." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Get the fuck out. You're an idiot." And they made me get out of the car and walk.
But did they mean
10
it?
minutes. Oh, they meant
they
it.
didn't come back.
Oh no, they never came.
They don't come back.
I had to walk.
If they
through
didn't
this
mean it, they
neighborhood.
would have gone around the block or gone down 12 feet. No, they
And I had a
left.
newspaper, and I remember they took my newspaper and threw it out the window. And I just remember it was the winter, and it was just going like everywhere. And I tried to pick it up because I don't like littering, so I was like trying to, but I was just this fucking asshole in the hood trying to pick up newspapers. And
they didn't mean it in that they would still call you the next day, but they would leave you there.
Yeah.
So it's like they did and they did. The whole thing was a total.
You can't ironically beat someone up.
Yeah,
exactly. You're actually hitting me, dude. Yeah, but we don't mean it. No, but you are hitting me.
Colin Quinn
I got the bruises.
Me and Colin Quinn were driving somewhere to a college, and I remember I was drinking coffee, and he was to the right of me, and he just punched me in the side of the head. And I spit my coffee out, and it went all over the inside. We almost died. I'm not kidding, because I couldn't see. And
I would kill to see video of that. It's fucking hilarious.
And I was like, what?
Listen,
I was like, what the fuck? And he was laughing. I've never seen him. He was hysterically laughing. And I'm like, I couldn't see. And I'm like, Colin, I'm not kidding. We're on the highway doing 65. I had to stick my head out the window like a dog. And then I had to like pour water. It was we almost died. We almost fucking. He laughed for 20 fucking minutes.
Well, but I think what's good. Okay, this is what's good. Obviously, there's good and bad in this, right? Obviously, there's bullying, which is bad, and there's violence and there's murder. They're all bad.
The fact that I didn't feel like I could try certain things at the company. The fact that to this day, I talked about on your podcast, I still have arguments with Patrice. He's been dead for fucking 8 years. I'll do a bit and I'll feel good about it. And I'll hear his fucking voice. It's in there like a worm.
Yeah.
Just trashing me, going, I see what you're doing. You're trying to do this and you think of this, but you're not. You're just fucking this and just bam, 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 right down to the ground.
I mean, that.
Well, I was going to say,
I have you in my head. Dude, you got to write it down. I have him going, dude, don't do fucking. We have all that shit, Norton. They're always there, so it's kind of making you be better than you could have been if you just went the easier route.
Well, there is a survival of the fittest, isn't there?
I hope so.
Well, there certainly is. Is that the fact that you still do it and you're a success means you made it. You know,
there's an obligation, I think, to.
I mean, it could have.
I think some things were learned, but I think it was a bunch of fucking broken toys.
Yeah.
Just going at each other. That's all it was. It was just like it's like a family of kids who were abused tease the dog. And then the dog bites the family, and it just becomes that thing. They still love the fucking dog, but the dog is a lunatic.
Yeah, we could have been really all of us could have been way more. I mean, you're successful, but
I'm talking about shit you want to forget that nobody even saw. Hopefully,
Colin Quinn walked out of his house with brown corduroy Converse once, and I took them off his feet and threw them onto a telephone pole wire in front of his building.
But hold on,
and they were there for a week, but then somebody went and got them.
I want to get the 1990s Bostonian rules right. What's worse, those shoes or doing the Golden Globes? I need a scale of terrible things.
It didn't have to be a bad thing. It's that you went on stage and did something. That's all you needed to do. And they would fuck with you to the point. We all. I'm acting like I'm an innocent person.
No, of course.
We would all do that.
You remember the time you and Patrice did
Golden
that
Globes
TV show where he?
Hey man, because he did the Golden Globes.
Name names. I made really mad because the way we played the game, the way it was taught to us, that game was it's just like, oh yeah, hey, you dress like a pregnant woman, and then we would say, yeah, at least my mother isn't dead. Like we'd go to that level.
Like, whoa.
That was.
Of course.
So we had to learn.
Yeah. Well, that was me. I was the worst. I would always bring it.
But that's what I'm trying to get to. Was it real?
I would always.
Was it real?
Yeah, it was real.
Did you do it? But did you do it to people you didn't like?
No.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we did.
Who?
See?
I'm not naming the names. Come on, dude.
We never fucked with people we didn't.
I'm not saying people who sat at the people who walked by the table.
Oh yeah.
No, if you sat down and I didn't like you, I didn't fuck.
That's
with
why
I wouldn't fuck, and I wouldn't fuck with the certain people.
Bobby. I think you got the rose-colored lenses in the
Bobby.
glasses there.
Bobby who?
It was
Dude,
always.
Come on. How many almost fights? How many almost
actual
fights?
fist fights? What nearly like you stepped over the mark and someone wanted to hit you?
I don't remember any
people
fights.
Crying, almost fight. What are you talking about?
People
Dude, I remember one
Jesus
night
Christ.
Keith Robinson. I forget what the fuck happened, but we ended up getting in a fight over this remote control, and he dug his fucking pimp fingernails into my fucking finger.
Yeah, but you loved each other.
Huh?
Yeah, but you loved each
No,
other.
but I'm just saying you're acting like it never got mean.
No,
it
we
never
did
got
with
crazy.
each other. I almost beat up Voss. Remember me and Voss? He flipped the whole thing of chicken wings on me, and the sauce went all over my chest.
I don't know what's real and what's
Rich
not.
Voss.
What I'm trying to ask is, in this gang,
Yes.
of
You're
like,
trying to rationalize it. There was no
No,
rational.
I get that there's no rules, and you say terrible things.
You're
and
going
you don't mean
actor
them.
on us. You're
But
trying to get
what-
into the character of what's going on. That's what he's been doing the whole time.
No, what? No, I'm not.
Who are
I-
these people?
No.
What is it that makes
I'm
them
genuinely
tick?
trying to work out if I don't think anyone ever
Inside
meant
Ricky
it.
Gervais's studio.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think anyone really wanted to make someone cry. Or was that like, if you did that, that was
I'll
like
give you one
fucking
example.
hell?
I'll give you one example. I remember Rich Voss was dating this girl,
Right.
and they came to the table. We were all there, and she sat down, and he sat down. We all were having a good time. We all busted balls, whatever. A week later, that girl came back by herself because she had such a great time last time we were at the table, and she sat down, and we all were just sitting there. And then Patrice at one point just looked at her, goes, "Excuse me, miss. Hi, how are you? Are you giving Voss any pussy?"
Oh.
And she went, "What?" And she goes, "Are you giving Voss pussy? You banging Voss?" She's like, No, we dated a couple." He's like, "Okay, all right. Are you anybody here?" And she's like, we're all laughing. She's laughing. No. And he goes, "All right, well, you got to go. You got to beat it because you can't."
Damn.
And then I think it was Keith was like, "Yeah, you got to go. You're on. You got Donnie Brasco'd in by Rich Voss. You can't just come here." And she was like, "What?" And everybody's laughing, but she was laughing, and then it kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she turned away, and then she turned back in tears. She goes, "Fine, I'll leave." She got out.
Yeah.
The whole
Damn.
restaurant shut down, like quiet, and we're all looking at her, and she goes, "Bye." And then as soon as she said bye, everybody went. And we all applauded
Applauded what?
her crying her scene that she just did, and then
It
she
was like
left.
this badge of honor,
It was
how mean you could be and
It
how
was-
much you
but
didn't
That's,
care.
but that's not good.
It was
because
That's what
funny.
we've been trying to tell you for the
That's what
last
we're trying
half
to
an
tell
hour.
you.
You just wouldn't hear it.
No. Wait. She's a civilian.
Yeah,
She's
but
not one of you
that's
guys.
why. Yeah, but you can't sit
There's
at the
no
table,
rules, Ricky.
There's
no rules.
Ricky. You can't
There's
sit
no-
at the table.
there's no rules.
You're Donnie Brasco'd in. Boss isn't here. You're not banging anybody else. You gotta
Right.
go. That's the whole point.
I saw Patrice get mad at Jim one time, and I agreed with Jim. I was like, "Why the fuck is Patrice?" And then that made it even more like unsettling. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know where the rules are here.
Yeah.
Like Jim was on a date, and fucking Patrice was fucking trying to get Jim's attention, and Jim was so afraid that Patrice was going to say something so rude it was going to fuck up his pussy for the night, so he's ignoring him. And at that time, Jim was opening for fucking dice on the road, so Patrice starts yelling to Jim
And you
in
dice
this
play?
dice character.
Oh!
Yeah, going, "Hey, Jim, let's go to the mall." Oh! Like saying shit Dice would say on the road to him. So we're all dying laughing. And the woman he's with is hearing Jim's name and not seeing Jim turn around. She's figuring it out. And finally, Jim went over and said something to Patrice. Like, "Patrice, I'm trying to fucking get laid." And he went over there. And then Patrice got mad.
Yeah.
And then was trying to tell me for an hour why he was right. And the whole time in my head I was like, "No, Jim's right. You were totally cock blocking him, and he wouldn't do that to you." And then it just was like, and it was basically everybody had their own fucking set of rules.
So the rules was you couldn't if you got moralistic and said no, who's right, then you've broken the rules and you're in the wrong, are you? Do you know what I mean?
Everybody is wrong and everybody's right. It was fucking chaos, and that's why it was like it
Chaos.
was not. It's
But then
not
that's
something to.
but I suppose that wasn't nice. Then you didn't like it. You didn't.
Well, here's the thing: if there were rules, then you could know where the fucking next thing was coming. But the fact that there
rules
was
is
no
the wrong
fucking
word.
rules, you just sort
Yeah,
of
no, I
walk
agree.
in,
Yeah.
going, "I don't know what's going to happen."
Yep. But
Eddie
it-
Ifs,
but-
the funniest thing about Patrice, said one night he came walking in and he was trying to slink in. He was on the whole other side of the fucking olive tree. And then Patrice yelled, "Hey, Eddie, I see you." Something. "Eddie, something, blah, blah, blah." And he said his thought was, "Fuck, he saw me."
Yeah.
And then he just knew. It was like, all right, this is going to be at least 20 minutes long unless this person walks in not knowing Patrice is here or whatever. It was just literally bullying. It was just schoolyard
Yeah,
bullying.
yeah,
There was nothing
that's-
productive about
But
it.
isn't
Yeah,
that
no,
where
I'd say
comedy?
that is
disagree.
different. I
I
imagine.
disagree with that. There's nothing productive about it. I think it was actually.
I think we lied to ourselves.
I
that
think it
made
was.
us
I think
funnier.
it's.
Well,
I think
if
it was.
it
It
made
was
you-
funny. It was some of the best times of my life. The time that I got smashed for wearing a fucking evening gown. If they didn't make fun of me for that, I would have fucking.
I agree, but
Never
I-
ever.
You'd done it again.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
There was
But if you'd have, what would they have said to you that made you fucking cry? You wouldn't. You
that
wouldn't have
almost
got,
made me cry. Because
Really?
it was 45 minutes in the car and it never ended.
For wearing
And
shit trousers.
I can't remember what they said, but it was each one was funnier and funnier, and they were having such a good time
At your expense.
It brought me back to when I was a kid,
Well, that's-
and I
that's
used
it.
to get bullied.
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
I'm glad that they did that because.
See, stop wearing cat suits.
But yeah, I mean, but I understand what Billy's saying too. That if we could have just took 10% of
I'm just trying to be honest about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it gets romanticized, and
It
that's
does.
what we
No,
did.
I
and we
hear
all
what you're
became
saying.
great couples.
Well,
It definitely was a lot of fun nights. It's definitely some of
think
I
there's
agree
truth
with
to
all
what you're
that.
saying, too,
And then
yeah.
the other side was it was very fucking damn like, dude, you don't know like the
Yeah.
amount of people like because I used to still play the strip.
Yeah.
There was people who used to hide at another comedy club. They wanted to work down there
Yeah.
and wanted to audition, but did not want to go through the gauntlet of that just fucking
Now it's
humiliation.
now it's gone though.
Oh no! Now it's like somebody said it's
you
like
go-
a fucking coffee bean. Down
Yeah,
there.
you go down there now and it's it's.
Ricky, Bill, and that was Bobby who? I'm not familiar with. Not sure who that was. I know heard Bill call him Bobby. Bill said there's nothing productive. Well, it produced, it kind of, made. I think that was a part of Bill Burr's upbringing in comedy. Going through that, all the lashings from Patrice that helped Bill's comedy. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't seem like Ricky understood. It didn't seem like Ricky understood the Boston comedy scene. It was a little bit too cutthroat for Ricky. Ricky's like, but she's a civilian. Ricky, yeah, it didn't seem like Ricky understood. And Ricky's he's a different type of comedian, I think. You know what I'm saying? Especially than like Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal and Ricky are totally, totally different. Well, not that different. They both walk that line. You know what I'm saying? They both teeter on the edge of comedy. We've heard some Ricky Gervais jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the Golden Globes, some of his stand up, but they're still a little different. So I would understand why it would be hard for Ricky to understand Patrice O'Neal, especially offstage Patrice, when he's talking about people, when he's getting on people. Yeah, I mean, I think you want a Patrice O'Neal around where you wear some dumb shit. Because he'll be the one to make you not want to wear that again. Like you had bell bottoms on and polyester pants and a shirt or what. Oh shit! He said he almost cried in the car. He said Patrice they almost made him cry. He never wore anything like that again. That's like when Bill was talking about when they made fun of him for wearing the same shirt twice in a week. And you only got 5 shirts. Yeah. Yeah. Patrice O'Neal. Patrice O'Neal.